Okay, you've discovered your personal mission and you can state it clearly. You've thought through and written out maybe 2 or 3 implications for your life and ministry. And now you've created a plan to make that a reality and you're working that plan. That is fantastic. And then life happens and ministry happens and church happens and mission drift also happens. It's like you've taken your hand off the wheel. You look up and you realize you're about to run off the road. Well, it's time to put our hands back on the wheel and stop this mission drift. That's what this third video is about. It's from our mini series, Purposeful Leadership, Living Your Ministry. So how do we resist this mission drift? It's by building lifelong habits that help you stay true to your personal ministry calling. In this video, I'm going to share 4 steps that you need to take. And this last one, it's the self-reported most valuable habit for those who I've helped to help them stay true to their personal ministry calling. All right, let's dig in. What's number 1? Number 1 is identifying your weaknesses. Now, this step involves understanding the difference between your actual values and your aspirational values. As I mentioned in the first video of this series, your actual values drive your motivations and ultimately your behaviors. You see, but because we are fallen creatures, our actual values are this impure mix of godly and ungodly values and priorities. For instance, many leaders have a need to be right and to get their way. After all, we practice truth. We study truth, God's word. We can become experts on leadership. We spend more time thinking about the church. And so it's tempting to want to get our way because we know more and better than others. And so we feel the need to win the day, right? Is this one of your actual values? To be the expert, to be right, to get your way because you know best? Well, Jesus said this about leadership. He said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It is not to be so among you. But whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave, even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Now, what I'm not trying to say is don't lead. I'm not saying that at all, but more of how we need to lead. This may be the difference between an actual value and an aspirational value. This idea of wanting to be right and be the expert or servant leadership. Now, to identify your actual values and create a list of aspirational values, use the link below that's found in the description. It's a great and sometimes sobering exercise, but that's how we grow. Okay, now here's only for the bravest of brave. And I mentioned this in the first video. It's the Johari window. Let me walk you through it, this diagram. Okay, now on the left side, you will see 2 things describing how other people either know these things about you or don't know some certain things about you. Across the top, you see the things that we know about ourselves and the things we don't know about ourselves. These divide up into 4 different quadrants or windows. The first one is you know these things about yourself and other people know these things about yourself. It's the open window. You can speak freely and discuss these things about who you are. Now, let's drop down to number 2. Number 2 are the things that you know about yourself, but others don't know about you. It is the hidden window. It's the things that we do not want to show other people, do not want to share with other people. But to grow, we need to address these as well. And so the question that we need to ask other people is, can you help me with the hidden challenges and temptations in my life? Now let's jump up to the third window. The third window is the things that we do not know about ourselves, but others do. It's probably the most dangerous window. It's the window where we have probably created the most hurt and being most insensitive to other people. It's that blind spot. To address this blind spot, we have to ask this question of other people that we trust who have our best interest in mind. What is it that I don't realize about myself? That can be a scary prospect, but that can help you grow as you begin to identify those weaknesses. Now, the fourth window is this. It's the unknown. You don't recognize it about yourself. Others don't know it as well. It's the Psalm 139, Lord, search me and know me. It is asking the Holy Spirit, please reveal to me what I need to know about myself. You see, beyond those weaknesses that you are already aware of, this exercise will help you identify those weaknesses that you are unaware of. And with that information, you can begin to recognize and address idols, temptations, tendencies that must have a lesser and lesser influence on your life and ministry, which means then you can go into battle seeking God's help to change you from the inside out. All right, let's talk about step number 2, and that is to create a personal mission cohort. Last November, my son and I started to begin to work out 3 days a week. We were both committed to getting stronger and to see some body recomposition. Yeah, Google that. Okay. There's just some natural accountability when you lay out your goals and you do it together with other people. It's that iron sharpening iron. And so every Wednesday before we work out, for instance, it's weigh-in day. The scale don't lie. Do the same with your personal mission. Find 1 or 2 people in your life who are also committed to living their personal mission and go on a journey together with them. Challenge them to be committed to one another to encourage faithfulness to each of your personal missions. This mini accountability group can be a huge and valuable resource to living your plan and staying on course, staying on track. All right, let's go to number 3. The third step is this: get a coach or a mentor. And let me be clear about what I mean here. I'm speaking of a very specific coach or mentor, someone who exhibits that lifestyle that is similar to what you envision of your personal ministry calling and living it out. You want to find someone who does what you want to do. Practically speaking, this is what it looks like. Come up with a list of names that you respect, that do the things that you long to do more effectively. Prioritize that list. Then reach out and contact them and share with them what they do really well that you also want to do really well. And then ask them to coach or mentor you in that specific area. I did this about 25 years ago. I know this guy who has a leadership gift and he exercises it very well. And so he gave me 6 hours on one of his days once a month for about a year. It was a fantastic gift. And I'm sure something took, at least I hope so. All right, here is number 4. Again, the single most valuable habit others have mentioned that have helped them build lifelong habits to help them stay true to their personal ministry calling, and that is this. Number 4 is develop regular rest, reset rhythms. These regular rhythms need to be daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Okay, let's take a look at a couple verses. Mark chapter 1, verse 35, one of my favorite verses, as it speaks of Jesus and rising very early in the morning while it was still dark. He, again, Jesus, departed and went off to a desolate place where he prayed. Okay, now take a look over my shoulder. You'll see this other key verse that maybe many of you know very well. Jesus says in John chapter 15:5, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Let's read that again. For apart from me, you can do nothing. We need to know that. We need to embrace that truth. See, many of us can quote those verses, but with the business of ministry comes the temptation to neglect one, if not all, of the regular rhythms of rest that God has ordained. So let's go through each one of those, beginning with daily. Here are some thoughts. Besides your personal time with the Lord, you're doing that, right? Okay, you're doing that. Besides those personal times, limit the number of evenings that you are not home with your family. Get the sleep you need. Don't rush your personal time with the Lord. If your time with the Lord has become dry, change your routine. Read until you can write something down. Pray until God reveals something through his word to you and through his spirit. Maybe carry that thought around with you all during the day and glance at it. Okay, let's look at that weekly rhythm. The Sabbath was made for man, right? We need it. So when is yours? On that day, what refreshes you? What renews you in the Lord? You see, every ministry leader needs to know themselves and what gives you that spiritual boost to love God more, trust him more fully, be more satisfied in him, and desire to do what he has called you to do with a greater commitment. All right, number 3, it's the monthly. It's the idea of establish a monthly personal retreat day. Yeah, getting away from your office. And it's centered on God's agenda for you, who you are, and your relationship with Him. Allow God to refresh you with His sufficiency. You want to be so released from the pressures and demands for ministry during that personal retreat day that you are convinced and you can live out the truth that Jesus is enough. You don't need anything else. You don't need the successes, the accolades, the praise of men. You don't need any of that. All you need is Jesus. Then, and only then, allow Him to establish your priorities and to bring you back to His mission for your life. This then allows you to determine how your next month's schedule and calendar should look. Let me give you a sample schedule of a personal retreat day. Drive to a location away from your office. Turn off your cell phone. Read and pray for an extended period of time. Read from a book that encourages you. Walk or hike or ride or stay refreshed and keep that blood pumping. Review or modify your critical growth areas, those CGAs you worked on earlier. Pull out your calendar and schedule your priorities, but finish your day by praying for those things that you've placed on your calendar. All right, let's look at the 4th rhythm, and that is the yearly one. It's the getting away for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even up to 7 days to be refreshed. Spend most of it in prayer, in study, in worship. Remember the reasons that you are in ministry because of what God has done for you. In 1 Samuel chapter 30, we read of an incredibly difficult leadership situation in David's life. You see, he and his men return to Ziklag, and they find that the Amalekites had raided the town and burned it with fire and had taken captives their wives, their sons, their daughters. And it says that the people wanted to stone David. Some of you are thinking, okay, that's kind of like our last church membership meeting. I get it. But then look at how the verse ends in 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 6. It says, but David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. That is a great summary of all that we must do to build lifelong habits of staying true to our personal ministry calling. That whether times are good or bad, smooth or challenging, we would be ministry leaders that would continually strengthen ourselves in the Lord our God. So keep on building those habits and let's make more disciples.